A few months back, billionaire Robert Smith shocked the world after being the keynote speaker for Morehouse's graduation and telling the 300 plus young men that he would be wiping out all of their college debt. This was over $40 million of debt that he was going to perform. And many people had a lot of positive things to say about this gesture. But then the detractors of Robert Smith made an observation. That observation was, well, that's a nice thing that he's doing, but he's not married to a black woman. He is interracially married in an interracial relationship. Thus, the gesture is nice, but it doesn't mean as much. It would mean more if he had a black woman and that money would go towards his kids. He would be building a black family and stuff like that. But, the majority of his assets, if he dies right now, is going to go to a 34-year-old former Playboy model who's a woman who wouldn't deal with him if he didn't have that money. And that's not the only argument that we've talked about. I believe his name is Byron Allen, guys. If that's what his name is, let me know if I'm misspoken here. Byron Allen is also another guy. Byron Allen is another guy who's a cable executive, right? He very successful, bought the Weather Channel, and has a pending lawsuit against Comcast, among other companies, for not airing some of his programs. And he says this is happening based off of racism. But the detractors of Byron Allen say the same thing. He should not get any support. He's with a white woman. He's no longer in the black community. Let those people support him. He should never get any support from black folks because he has a white wife. He sold out once he married a white woman. Therefore, the black community should have nothing to do with him. He's made his bed. Now he can lay in it. Interesting observations, to say the least. And you guys know I'm somewhere usually in the middle. I definitely agree to a certain extent that if you are a brother and you marry interracial, regardless of what it is, black people, for the most part, if you're successful, do not want to hear from you. Okay. Your opinion on the black community, to many people, is limited. It is watered down because many black people, and I think black men and black women included, although black men are not as judgmental, having a black wife it means something. It not only does it mean something to black folks, it means something to white folks. In other words, other races, I feel, have more respect for you when you marry your own people. Let's use Barack Obama. Barack Obama was a guy who had never dated a black woman until he met Michelle. Now, although Obama is not an African American, he is what would be considered black. He won the U.S. presidency, in my opinion, because one of the reasons was he was young, energetic, but he had a woman that was black. That really appealed to black voters. That also appealed to white voters, I think. If Barack Obama had been with a woman that was white, he wouldn't have made it past the primaries. The country is not, at the time, was not ready for a black man and a white woman to be the president of the United States. Would have never happened. The black community wouldn't go for it. He would have went down under real quick. But the question is right now, though, in dealing with this particular argument is, should the black community get behind and support somebody who is married out of the race? All right. Now, this is a tough argument, because the argument is that person is going to take their wealth, usually, and contribute that wealth to that person's family. That woman, when you die, will get the money that you have worked hard for. It will not come back to the black community. That's the biggest argument. However, breaking news, shout out to Brother Phil, who was telling me this on the phone. Robert E. Smith has not only pledged to wipe away the debt of those students, he is now going to wipe away the debt of their parents. Let me say it again. He is not only wiping away the debt of those students, he is wiping the debt away from those parents. He's going to pay their parents' college loans off, which alleviates so much financial stress from both the parents, and the kids get to start off fresh in life. Now, say what you want to say about Robert Smith. Say what you want to say about people like Byron Allen. But you cannot deny that they are presenting unique opportunities with their newfound wealth for black people, especially in the case of Robert Smith. He is wiping out loans, wiping out financial debt for brothers, helping black families get started. Because if that black man he's helping get started marries a black woman and they don't have any debt, that is helping the black community. That is helping the black family. That is helping black people ahead. But the question is, should the black community support such people? Now, in the case of Robert Smith and Byron Allen, the answer is a resounding yes. But let's talk about a whole nother aspect. What about those brothers who are married outside the race that are middle class, that are poor and destitute? Do they have a voice in the black community? Here's the reality. If you are a brother, you do not have things to give back to the black community financially, and you're not in a unique situation. The black community doesn't want to hear from you. I mean, that's just the truth, right? Let's just be honest. The black community, which is mainly a matriarchal thing, they're not going to want to hear from any brother, especially if your woman is attractive or whatever. They're not going to want to hear from you. But for the normal brothers out there in interracial relationships, if the black community don't stick up for them, and shout out to Hood Chase TV, my brother, a.k.a. the Black Hood Conservative. Black men should start to stick up for brothers in interracial relationships. Let me talk about this, because here is what we got to understand. While I prefer brothers to be with black women, you must live your own life. And there are a lot of brothers out there who are in relationships with somebody that is not black, but that does experience racism. When that brother comes out and says, I need support from the black community, they're not going to be there for him. He's already walked himself out of the community with a white wife, with a Mexican wife, and black people do not want to hear from a brother interracially in a marriage or a black woman with a white guy. The black community has nothing to say. But here's a situation I want to talk about. There was a sister that had a white man that was being disrespectful to her, calling her out her name, and recorded it. You guys remember a few years ago, and Crystal and Karazin reached out to her. Those women got behind that lady. Although she went back and got with another white guy right after it, right? See, women in the black community, they can get behind sisters, no matter what the case is. But see, brothers don't do that. See, black women understand they're going to support each other no matter the case. But when it comes to our brothers, unless you got Robert Smith money or something like that, the normal brother that's with an Asian girl or Mexican girl, white girl, he can't get no support from the black community at large. The black church ain't gonna come out for him. He got a white wife, Asian wife. The black community ain't gonna, he got a white wife, Asian wife. Well, who can support him? You brothers. Because the number of you black men who are married out of the race is growing every day. But without any racial solidarity from y'all for each other, you cannot work together. Whenever there are injustices done to a black man, and if he's in a relationship with a white girl and that comes the case, some sisters will say he deserves it. Let his white woman handle that. Let his Mexican woman handle that. That's what they'll say. And you know that's the answer that you're going to get. See, black men, when they marry outside of the black community, for the most part, their black community relationship is done. That's something that we don't want to talk about. But black men have the opportunity to say, no, he's still a brother. We can come together. The brother's being done wrong. We should be there. Because I'm telling you, when sisters find out for the most part that you are with a white girl and you get into the bind, you can forget about it. But I still say this. Black men who are in relationships with non-black women still have something to contribute. Now, they might not be able to be leaders of the black community. They might not be able to have the biggest voice. They can give money. They have resources. There are things they can mentor. They can do things. Now, the black community might not be ready for it, but brothers got to be ready for these brothers. So that is the biggest thing. The black men have to start to support these guys because there's many more of you guys coming up than ever before. So I wanted to talk about that. Let me know what you think. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Subscribe, hit the bell on the channel. I really appreciate you, brothers. As you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.